Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna create a Christmas 3D pop-up card since the holidays are coming in the end of the year. So this is the envelope that we are gonna be making, and this is a beautiful card that folds, and then you can use it as a decoration for any space, either your desk or at home, anywhere. I think it's a very nice card and different to give to our loved ones. So let's check the materials and go through the assembly process. So these are all the pieces that we are gonna need to create this design, and the different green tones to be able to have the contrast between them. Also we have here the little red things that are I made them with foil glitter. This is the base. These are a couple leftovers, and here are the pieces for the envelope. And the Merry Christmas sign that is also made with glitter. So the first thing I'm gonna do is on the green layer, the first one, which is the big one, I'm gonna place the red flowers. I always forget how to call them. And I'm using foamy dots for that. And now we are gonna place the Merry Christmas sign, also using foamy dots, and just make sure that the foamy dots are actually getting glue with the red flowers. So I will recommend to put the glue, the foamy dots on the red section first, and then kind of make sure that all of them are gonna be attaching both the Christmas and the other one. And the last part that goes on the top, we will see later how it's gonna be. And basically, to your reference will be the age for Christmas. That's the one that goes exactly in the center, comparing to the piece below, the layer below. And if you feel that the foamy dots don't have enough glue, then you can also use a hot glue gun, so they will stay together, because we don't want them to get destroyed once someone opens and checks the card. And the shiny color, just to as a quick note, is because I use foil glitter, adhesive glitter, I mean adhesive vinyl, sorry. Okay, so now we are gonna start building the card, as this way, before we put the other layers, so that way it's easier to manage all these pieces and they don't get move around everything. So now with the base, I'm just folding all the sections that have score lines, and it's gonna be like a little rectangle at the end, and then I have to fold these pieces. These are the ones that are gonna be glued to the base. And if you have seen my other videos, this technique, I use this technique a lot, to attach pieces to a base. So now we kind of see how this is gonna look like, and so at the end this is how the card is gonna look. So now what we have to do is we kind of calculated where we want these pieces to be, and our score lines are gonna be our reference. Also, I will show you once this part is done, and a second technique which I think will be easier to attach these pieces. So please check later on this video, and you will see the second technique. I think will be much easier. You will see why. So now I'm adding the glue on the other side. And then on the back. So in here I'm just kind of adjusting the pieces just to make sure they glue correctly, because it can be a little bit tricky because of the design. Well, not the design, but the way that the base goes for this particular design. So I'm just kind of checking that all the pieces are also glued without having any piece flying around, and then the next step will be just to glue the base to be in one piece, just like this. So I'm adding more glue here. And I folded just to make sure it's folding correctly without problems, and I will just have to move those leaves a little bit, but pretty much done. So now I'm just gonna add these pieces, these white pieces all around. I'm using foamy dots also to give them dimension. It's up to you. You can either do it this way or just glue them. But I think that makes the card looks nicer, just like this. And it's folding without problem. So now I have all these sections with these white pieces, and so this piece I put it together with all the pieces that you see above, and that's the order that they need to follow. I did it right away just to save a little bit of time, but if you have questions on how to do this, please feel free to contact me and I will be happy to help you. And here again, I'm adding the foamy dots on sections that I am sure is the pieces are gonna be attached together without getting loose later. So I'm kind of looking here and then seeing what pieces are the best to be attached with the foamy dots. If you see, this card is not complicated to make, even that has layers. You can create it quickly. The design part is the hardest one. It took me a couple hours to figure it out. But yeah. Also, besides the 4 pieces that I mentioned that were showing up above, the very last thing that goes on top is the ribbon, and that one has 2 pieces. So the red one is 1 piece, and then the one that you see with red glitter is the one that goes on top. If you don't use glitter, you can add foamy dots, and that will add some dimension to the ribbon also. It's optional. So here, because I noticed that some glue dots are not gluing very well, so I'm just using my glue gun to add hot glue, and that way I'm sure it's gonna be all the pieces are gonna stay in place. And I'm just checking other areas. Sorry, this part of the video, my camera moved. I didn't realize that until now. But I'm basically just checking that everything is in place, and you can see now it looks very nice and shiny. I highly recommend the foil vinyl because it looks pretty. So now this small piece is just to hold the these two main pieces, because that way the layers are not gonna make the piece go down. I'm just cutting it here to adjust it, so it's gonna be it's gonna go down just like this. So that's gonna hold my two pieces along with all the layers, and they won't move. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue here, just to make sure that this piece is not gonna move. And because I'm using the same green as the second piece, you will barely see it. You will be able to see it only when you see the card from one of the sides, which I don't think it doesn't look bad either. But so this is my piece now, and as we saw, this goes like this, as the base for this card. But then we need to add these two pieces, which are those that are holding the big main piece right like this. So the other way to do this will be so first we have to kind of see where we need to be the pieces attached, and it will be in this one right here. So then I have this section which has 3 inches, and all I need to do is divide it by half, and this little thing here will be used as your reference, and then you can just make a line, or you can use this just to create the scoring instead. And then after that you have to have this distance as separation between these two pieces, because this one goes like this. So this piece has 1.5 inches. So if I divided that by 2, because I want it to be right in the center, so it's gonna be 0.75 inches. So I brought this little mark here, and I'm gonna do the same in this area, because I want to make sure the otherwise it could not go to so. And then I'm just gonna again make a mark here. Then you won't notice this because this is actually gonna be behind or inside, so this is fine if you do it this way. So now I have these two pieces. They look kind of messy, but it's just because I did it with my black pen. But this is how your pieces are gonna look like. And then if you notice, these two cut lines are towards your left side, so you want to make sure that those are actually gonna be staying in that way. So that means that you don't want it to be close to the front side of the card. So what we are gonna do now is I'm gonna put this piece right here, and you can do it 2 ways. Either just right at the bottom or a little bit higher, just because these two pieces may touch the top, and then you will have to kind of make this cut. Let me show you, because this is what I did with this. So what I did here is I made a little cut there, so just to make fit this part, and then that way it makes our holes without any problem. But if you want to omit that step, so I can just go ahead and get it higher, and then I won't have to cut anything later. So if you see, I have my line here, so this is gonna be right like this, and then this is the part that I'm gonna glue. So it's gonna be like this. So I'm gonna do that right now. My glue, yeah. So, and again, you have to put just a little bit, not too much, just enough to glue it. So then I'm gonna glue it like this, and I'm gonna do the same with the second piece in this area. But here, if you notice, if I do it this way, and then just to double check, I just want to make sure I still have the same distance, which is 1.5, and yeah, we're good to go. So for this case, again, I'm gonna do the same thing, and it needs to be aligned with this one, just like this. And this technique may be easier for some of you, so that's what I wanted to show you, so it's easier to put your cut together. So I'm doing this right now, and I like to use the head glue because it's easy. So now I have these two pieces like this. And then the next step will be actually to glue them right here, but because so I will basically have to do the same here. So I'm gonna divide this by half, which is 1.5. Or I can use this as a reference, as I mentioned it before, because that's exactly the half of this section. And probably it's hard to see for you, and you can see here the two score lines, so that's also your reference to know which one, what you have right there. So I'm gonna make a mark here just to have it, and then I'm gonna again mark 0.75 inches. Just for this, and I'm gonna make a line again here, and once again here, and I'm gonna do the same as I did here, but now the difference is that because I have these pieces like this, I may have to glue these first, so that would make it easy for me. I'm gonna glue this section here, just like this. And now all I need to do is glue this like this, and just make sure it's also aligned so they are straight and they look exactly. So like if you see the line here, so this one has to be that way too, like this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna add some glue here. And then I'm just gonna, sorry, gotta be careful here. I just have to make sure those are aligned here with the line that I made, and I have my first piece. And now I go with the second one. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna bring it here. Then this one goes. Oops. Oh no. I did it right. It was too far from the one. Okay, so I have my piece now. You can see it looks nicer. Even looks even nicer down here because you can see that it's kind of messy. Here a little bit, but it's still good. So you have this option that it may be easier. And now the only thing that you have to do is just fold these parts that are gonna be glued to this side and place your piece like this. So now we have our first piece. I think that was the second one. Oh my god, let me just fix that. This is just an example anyway, so I'm gonna do it like that. And then we do the same with the second one. The paper that I'm using for the base is not too thick, but then you can see now I have these two main pieces and they fold perfectly fine. It is. And then now it will be just a matter of glue these corners. Let me do it so you can see it also. And I'm not using kind of fancy paper here just because I wanted to show you the technique as I already made the card. So I'm just gonna put a little bit here, a little bit below, and I'm just gonna kind of accommodate this just to make sure my piece is right there. Okay. And if it's hard to see for you, you can do it from this section and it works just fine also. It may be a little bit kind of tricky to do it this way, but all you need to do is you can do one side right here and then attach it right here, and then you do the bottom. That's the easier way to do it, and also to make sure that you are gluing it in the right place. Okay, so I'm just gonna push here, and here we go. So I think this will be an easier way to do it, but either way works. So it's up to you what technique you want to use. Just make sure you take the measurements correct. As I said, this piece has 2 inches, and this one in the middle have 1.5 inches. So that way you know that this piece is gonna fit exactly here. Otherwise, you can attach these pieces to these ones together, as I did previously. And then you don't have to be worried about any measurements. It will be just a matter of kind of make sure that it is in the case. And also, if you notice here, because I put these pieces a little bit higher than from the bottom, so I have more space here to play around with these pieces. So you can see here that I don't need to have anything because they are actually higher. With this one I have to cut because I attached these pieces right at the bottom. So it's up to you. Both options work, but I wanted to show you both of them so you have 2 different ways to put this card together and you will get the same result. So now let's create the envelope. So my envelope has 2 pieces. I'm gonna fold the score lines right now. This is a very standard envelope. Well, my type of standard envelope because I always have some type of design. And what I'm doing right now is just cutting the corners so it will be easier to fold these sections for each piece. And if you see, I combined two different green colors. That is optional also. You can use the same color for both sides. Then once I have all the pieces, I can go ahead and glue them together. And I'm using hot glue just because I like that it gets done and dry quickly, and it doesn't make your paper wrinkle also. And then now I'm just gonna add the gift, which is mainly just to have a section to write something, a sentiment or anything you want to add, or from who to who. And so I'm adding this little piece that is also foil vinyl, adhesive foil vinyl, and the other ribbon that goes on top, and it's also so I'm using a foamy dot, and I'm also using two pieces of the design for the card, just to match it up, match both the envelope and the card, but that's optional. You can just use the gift section and that will be enough. And then I'm using the leftovers just to use them. I thought, well, that's a good idea, so I'm using those leftovers that come from the center of the pieces. It is up to you if you want to use them also. And for the part that I'm gonna glue on top of the card right now, on top of the envelope, sorry, I'm using the two last layers of the entire design. So all you need to do is to make an extra copy of those two to have this piece like this. Or you can just leave the envelope as it is and add the gift message, if we call it that way, to go on top of the envelope. Now I'm just gonna put together the glitter piece on top of the ribbon to make it look very shiny, and that's the part that goes on top of the piece of paper, which is kind of gift design. And I'm just also using foamy dots to add dimension. And the very last part will be just to attach these pieces that are leftovers. Since I have them, right? Why not? And the envelope is pretty much done now. gonna fix a couple of things. So you can see that looks very nice. I like the way it looks with the all the things, and I also added a ribbon on top of the card, so in case someone wants to hold it on the Christmas tree, they can do that also. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please give me a thumbs up if you like this card, and don't forget to subscribe so you can receive notifications. Thank you once again, and I will see you on my next video. Have a good one. Bye bye.